What's going on, guys? Eve here, and so I want to talk about Sega and why I'm happy Sega bought Angry Birds, developer Rovio Entertainment. Now, for those of you who don't know, Rovio Entertainment, the developers of Angry Birds, has recently been announced to have been acquired by Sega. Sega is in the process of, finalizing the acquisition for $776 million, which people are like, oh, whoa, Sega's got how much money? Yeah, people were surprised that Sega, which, fun fact, if you actually look at any trading site, has, brings in about 40, not 40, but like over $100 per share, which the shares are like $5 each. They bring over $100 per share in revenue. They had the money to spend on such a deal. I wasn't surprised. And it is actually what encouraged me to actually buy into Sega. So for those of you who are wondering, yeah, I do have a stake in Sega, so I am a little bit biased, but I will try my best to be unbiased in this video, because this is my opinion anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, right, problem is Rovio Entertainment. Rovio had started burning bridges with fans quite frequently, doing some very, let's just say, some very, very unfavourable things within the communities, especially stuff like delisting the original Angry Birds from mobile phones, mostly because that game was still selling really well, and while Rovio wanted people to go and play their new freemium games with advertisements and microtransactions. So Rovio got a lot of bad rap for that. They delisted the original Angry Birds game twice, and they let other Angry Birds games like Angry Birds Space, Angry Birds Epic, and Angry Birds Go. Well, there's just so many Angry Birds games. They basically let so many of the classic ones get delisted. Now I do understand there are some ones like Angry Birds Rio and Angry Birds Star Wars which they can't really bring back due to licensing agreements with the companies involved. In both situations they have to renew the license with Disney, for example, but I doubt Disney would be willing to make an agreement for those games because of how old they are and how little people will still play them. But I will say something like, say, Angry Birds Space, Angry Birds Epic. These are games that Rovio could easily bring back if they wanted to, but that would cost them money to obviously bring the engine up to date, and obviously they don't want to do that. Now, that's another reason why I think Sega would be a good owner of Rovio. I think Sega would take Rovio's library and actually make Rovio's old games available. For those who don't know, Sega has something called Sega Forever, where it's basically them preserving their own games, their own legacy titles. So I'm certain that Sega will obviously put Rovio's games in that sort of like little group as well. Especially games like the original Angry Birds and other more notable titles like the first 51 games Rovio ever released before the original Angry Birds. Which, fun fact, I don't think they've ever been available on any smartphone. So if Sega could obviously re-release those games from Rovio, that'd be really amazing as well. But we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with them. Likewise, I feel like Sega, will benefit as well, because obviously it increases their stake in mobile, and obviously Rovio has been looking at trying to expand out of mobile for a while. So this is where you kill two birds with one stone. Sega has a mobile game division, and Rovio now can get stuff like Angry Birds put on consoles. But yeah, guys, that's just basically it. I don't really know why people are opposed to this deal. I think it's a pretty good deal for everyone involved, and obviously for investors who like myself. We see Sega now being able to push further into gaming. People say, "Oh, the price tag was a little high." I mean, what are you going to do? They probably did spend so much money because obviously that's how much, first of all, they thought Rovio was worth. Second of all, you've got to consider that other companies may have been interested in bidding on Rovio, so Sega obviously had to try and make the price a little bit higher, a little bit more premium, just in case anyone tried to steal them from them. But to me, I think this is a good deal. I think this is good for everyone involved. Sega benefits, Rovio benefits, and investors benefit, and fans are going to benefit as well, because fans are going to be able to get access to classic Angry Birds games again, and Angry Birds on console, which hasn't been a thing since 2012, which is crazy. There you guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts and comments. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, turn notifications. I've been Eve and I'm signing out. Peace.